I'm gonna be changing the lower radiator hose on a 2000 Toyota Camry. I got right here is the lower radiator hose. There's nothing wrong with the lower radiator hose that's on the car right now. But I'm gonna put this new one on anyway. Cause if I don't, it's possible that when I'm driving the lower radiator hose that's on the car right now, it's possible it could crack open or burst open. And if that does happen, it'll be very inconvenient because the engine gonna heat up. If you're gonna be working on a radiator, you wanna make sure the engine is cold. First thing I'm gonna do is remove the radiator cap. If the engine is hot, when you remove the cap, it's possible the anti-freeze coolant gonna burst out. And you don't want those getting on you. It looks like I need to remove this splash shell. This is the top part. This is the part where water will hit when you're driving. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bolt. I'll just put those 2 jacks in there. It's always good to use extra support. I have a car on the ramp right now. The reason I removed the splash shell is because I need access to the drain fitting. I'm gonna use this plier to open the drain fitting. The reason I'm draining the anti-freeze coolant is because when I take the lower radiator hose out, I don't want the coolant to get all over the place. Coolant stopped coming out. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. The lower radiator hose is this right here. This is the lower radiator hose. I'm gonna remove this clamp right here. Before I move the hose up there, I put this pan here just in case there's any more anti-freeze coolant in the radiator. If there is, it'll drain onto the pan. I need to take this out. I took this out. It was holding this wire onto the lower radiator hose. I'm gonna explain how I took this out. It was like this. I think it'll be better if I put this back on the hose and explain it. But let me take the hose out first. This is the other end of the radiator hose. The side that's going to the engine. Getting the clamp out of the way. I'm gonna try to remove the hose by hand first. If I can't do it, then I'll use something else. So here, I put it back on the radiator hose, the old one. Move it down a little bit, use a flathead screwdriver, twist it, and then you gotta try to get under here. Maybe if you use a smaller flathead screwdriver, it'll fit easier. And then you turn, it'll come out. And when you put it back on, you just do this. You just put it back on. It'll go right back on. If you do break this, if you break it, just use a zip tie. There's the old hose and the new hose. Look about the same. And this thing here, I'm gonna take this out and put on the new one. I'm gonna take this out. Came out. And I'm gonna put on the new one. I'm about to say everything is the reverse of installing it. I'm starting to get tired of recording. Right now it's nighttime and I wanna get ready to go sleep. I just got back from AutoZone. I got this hose clamp right here. It'll fit the lower radiator hose. There's an AutoZone in this area that's open till midnight. Right now it's about 11:37 p.m. I'm gonna put both these clamps on each end. These are the two I just got at AutoZone. Gonna use the screwdriver to tighten it up. Hose going here. These hose clamp, it's not just a screwdriver that you could use to tighten. You could also use a socket to tighten it up. I'm gonna add antifreeze to the radiator. Right now the antifreeze are to the top of the radiator. I'm gonna put the cap back on. This is the reservoir. There's a hose that go from the reservoir to the cap of the radiator. The reservoir have a low and a full indicator. You could see a line under the full, and then there's a line under the low. So this means if your engine is cold, you want the antifreeze to be about on the line, about this line. And if your engine is hot, you want the antifreeze to be about this line. There's a line on top of it say low, another line and on top says full. I'm gonna add antifreeze to the reservoir. Installation of the splash shell. It will just be the reverse of removing it. This thing right here, I think it goes, if I remember correctly, it goes right here. This is the upper radiator hose. I'm not gonna remove it, but I'm gonna explain the procedure on removing it. To remove this upper hose, you just gotta remove this clamp here. This is the clamp next to the radiator, and you gotta remove the clamp over here. This other clamp is next to the engine. There's also this thing right here, you gotta remove it. This is the same as this one, this right here. But if you're not driving, if you're working on a different car, you're not gonna see this. This car is a 2000 Toyota Camry. After removing the two clamps on each side on the upper radiator hose, you could just remove it and put a new one on. And put new clamp too. So if you want to move the upper hose, it'll be a lot easier than the lower radiator hose. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just clean up, put everything away, and then tomorrow I'm gonna start the car. I'm gonna run it for about 5 to 10 minutes to operate temperature, and then I'm gonna turn the car off. I'll leave it for about 2 hours, and then after 2 hours I'm gonna open this cap. I'm gonna check the level. If it's low, if it's not to the top, then I'm gonna add more antifreeze to it. And I'll probably add more over here too, but I'll see tomorrow. And this is how you change the lower and upper radiator hose. I didn't actually change the top one, but I just explained the procedure. If you use the same concept that I did, you should be able to change the radiator hose, the upper and the lower radiator hose on just about any car.